What is up, everybody? It's your boy Bruce Wulfe back with you again in Vermintide 2, bringing another build video at you today. We're going to be looking at the dwarf, specifically the Ironbreaker out of him as I did on the elf. I'm going to tell you why I prefer this class, walk you through the entire build for him, and at the end I will give a summary of his other classes, in my opinion, versus this one. This isn't going to be a typical tank build. I'm going to show you how to get really good DPS out of him, while keeping the Ironbreaker's survivability. But before all that, I wanted to say thank you for all of you guys, because I've been getting really good support on these videos for Vermintide. I've been getting a lot of people coming over to the Twitch streams, touching them, and that's really fun for me. And I really appreciate all the feedback I've been getting and questions asked and all that stuff. So, links in the description below if you want to catch some of those, ask me any questions in person, interactive like, because it's handy. And yeah, leave a comment if there's anything you want to cover. And if you like the video, don't forget to square up with that like button, like it's your favorite hater, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I think I just did all of the YouTuber things, so let's actually get into what the video is going to be here. So first, in his passive, just his racial passives, completely absorb one hit every 20 seconds. That means every 20 seconds, like if you don't get hit, you're going from pack to pack. That first hit completely nullified. He has a huge damage reduction. It's a lot. It's really a lot. You take much less damage, and you have passives to make you even more survivable. He has increased stamina for his block and increased stun resistance as well. And his career skill, you taunt all nearby man-sized enemies, and you basically go invincible for 10 seconds. You can taunt and just stand there blocking and be completely invincible if you wanted to. So a useful little thing. In his equipment, I use the one-handed axe. It has really fast attacks, decent damage, and because of the shield breaking, armor piercing, it handles up on those mobs that are harder for the other DPS classes to deal with, like the halberd rats, the shield rats, the chaos knights. All of them just handles up on them, so it's really a nice little axe. For pistols, there's ranged. Of course, we're going Drakefire. They're one of, in my opinion, they're probably the best ranged weapon in the game, and he's the only one that can use them. So it's definitely a good thing to have. Necklace, I'm definitely going to go with Natural Bond for this, particularly if you have an elf taking Lotus, whatever, the passive that shares their regeneration to everybody in the party. You're pretty much invincible. It's really nice, and other people can heal you if you do get smashed out pretty bad. Somebody can pick up a healing kit and heal you. You just can't pick up yourself, which is good because that will leave more of the potions for squishier characters to take and use to themselves. Concoction, I really am a fan of this one. Gives you the effects of all of the potions no matter which potion you get. So you can pick up a strength potion, it'll max out your ulti, give you the increased damage and the increased attack and movement speed of all the potions. It's really nice. This one, there's Explosive Ordnance is a good one. I think there's another one called Shrapnel, I believe is the name of it, but it does a damage increase debuff. So anything hit with your grenades, it takes 20% more damage for like 10 seconds. Real useful for a boss fight. So it's a good thing for you as a air quotes tank to have on you. So going into that, just so you see the damage on these pistols, the way they work, you see they're really good damage. They do that little explosion is a small AoE, so you can take care of packs pretty easily, as well as it won't show in here, but I'll show it in the gameplay section. If you're shooting, you can hit your ulti and blow up. It does very small amounts of damage to you, but it'll pretty much wipe out everybody around you, and it will keep doing this. Also, with the regen and with the damage reduction of the dwarf, you can actually venture heat, and it does such a small amount of damage as to be almost completely unnoticeable and certainly non-consequential. Now, on the armored dummies here, you can see how this axe just gives zero fucks for their armor or their shield. Couldn't care less. Pistol definitely does, but this thing doesn't care. Even on my berserker, when I'm playing him as a berserker, this is my offhand weapon because it is just so powerful against armors. You can usually take out chaos knights even on veteran in just a few hits, which is quite nice. And because of the increased stamina, you still got 4 block shields, which is enough to get you through most things. But the main thing with this build is you aren't picking up ammo for your higher guys like Huntsman with that insane shotgun, or Salt with his arrows. So neither of them need ammo at the higher ends, but definitely is nice to where you just can completely ignore the ammo bins for your higher DPS guys. You can take out the armor ones really fast that are problems for the squishier characters, and you yourself are pretty much not going to die. So talents, last thing here. I take Stout Fellow. It's a pretty good one. You can take another one of these if you feel that 4 shields is not enough. I'm used to dual daggers, and they're insta block for like 3 shields, so it works pretty well for me. There's always the option of picking up sword and accent shield. Accent shield if you want to be more tanky as well, because you will be using your pistols the majority of the time. Let's see, and this one, that one's a pretty solid one, but personally, because as I said, you're doing for DPS, the 30% overheat reduction for your Drake fire will increase your DPS quite a bit because you can fire longer. That one's kind of stupid. I don't like it. Alright, so stamina regen. Again, if you're needing to go full tank, pick it up. But otherwise, this one's a pretty good one, because that means every 20 seconds you're healing for 10 health. And with your damage reduction, it's noticeable. This one, Tunnel Fighter as well, to reduce it. Play with these, figure out which one of these two fits your play style, but personally I go with this one to get that heal. And yeah, that one's good if you're getting hit more and having trouble staying alive. Down here, I would take Kills. The Grudgeborn Kills grant temporary health. The benefit of that is the little amount of damage that you take when you're venting your Drake guns will come out of your temporary health first. If you are needing to do it and have a little bit of damage, it's just completely filled up with the temporary health. Works really well. And because he's not using a super fast weapon or a super high crit weapon, this one just does not match up as much as I'd like it to. Let's see. So on his career skill ones, if you're going full tank mode, this one is the only way that your taunt will actually affect bosses. Otherwise, the only reason you'd ulti on a boss is to get that invincible stuff. And this one, the taunt radius is increased to 15, gives it more range. I recommend this one. It gives you an extra 50% of that invincible time, where you can just go full ham in the middle of a crowd and take almost no damage and be still putting out your same level of damage. All in all, this character is one of the strongest in the game, in my opinions, for just sticking around. He does, he can do 3k damage pretty easily, and usually be either first or second, depending on how good your elf slash, the high DPS guys are. And you can do that every single time. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a quick mission, get some gameplay footage for you. Just like last time, I'll walk through the playstyle while we're doing that, and we will catch up at the end. Okay, to start this off real quick, I just wanted to let you guys know to be able to move during the cutscene, if you press F2 and then F2 again and start moving, you'll notice your guys start running around while everybody's standing there wondering how you did it in the cutscene. It drove us nuts for a while because it doesn't take the cutscene away, but you can walk, so you just kind of do a thing for it. Okay, so Ironbreaker. You'll notice I use a lot of my Drake pistols, and usually only use my axe during the things. There's that overheat where you vent your heat that I told you guys about that does like nothing to your health. They're fairly accurate, as you can see. You can pop off some pretty long shots. And I'm about to do something that was a mistake. I did just to, I wouldn't normally do it in play, but I wanted to show you guys how it works. So, as you can see, just like a mage, you have a heat bar, and if it overheats, you explode. And it's a thing. If you pop your ulti, it takes like a quarter of your life or something. I didn't pop my ulti this time. I just blew up and got as close to the edge as I could. But you will see it leveled like everything around. And particularly if you use your ulti, it's a taunt, so they all get close to you. The little axe is perfectly fine, but this clip was more to show you guys how little an assassin damaged me while it tackled me. Obviously at increased difficulties that does get worse, but you're a lot more resistant to those type things going on. Yeah, sniping. There you go. Bad shots. Anyway, I think I used the axe the entire time through this one just to show you guys that it does have a really good, it's a solid melee weapon that you can definitely depend on when you want to get up and close and personal. And also show you damage reduction because, yeah, I block a few times when it's really like the boss I blocked against and, you know, stuff like that I block. But most of the time on the Ironbreaker, it's full handbone mode. You just kind of get in there with your face, shoot things on your way up, and then just start wailing with the axe. But can definitely work with the Drake pistols and wipe out that range. They do have the AoE. Watch the explosion unless you're planning on doing it tactically with your ulti and all that. But yeah, you do live through it, and with your DR, you live through it fairly decently. Okay, so let's. Hey, stop hitting me. Where am I? Where am I in the whole process here? So this is the war camp. This is the new mission they added. So we only got one of the grimoires just because the other one involves collecting candles, and I don't think any one of us here were really all that concerned with collecting all the candles. Let's see, some other things I want to show off here. So in a moment I'm going to show you how to figure out where one of the life sucker mages are, and you preferably be able to take them out beforehand. It works. You can tell where they're going with both the life suckers and the storm wizards, which both are really annoying unless you can find. Let's see how many of you guys actually catch the little tell that's going to happen here. So fair warning, pay attention right about now. Alright, you see that little line right there? So they always teleport and it leaves a streak in the direction they're going. So you can then turn around and be like, oh, well, prick went this way. There he is. And shoot him in the face. It's a useful thing. Definitely useful. And this one was just funny because he's yelling at it now. The one thing I wanted to point out, though, I know a lot of people think the barrels are there for help you. Just full-on warning, especially if you haven't played one of the tanks. The barrels fire stuff, like fire barrels blowing up, your damage reduction doesn't hit those, so they actually hurt. So watch out for that when you're on one of the tank classes. Alright, so now we're on to the boss fight. So I'm going through the majority of this one. I'm going to actually do tank stuff in this. So I'm going to be right in the front, pounding him with an axe and all that stuff. And yeah, here's how it goes basically. He's going to jump down, lie about how he's going to take us on himself first, because that's what he does. He's a big fat lying liar person. Anyway, so hit my ulti just to get tanky and get all up in there. He's going to kick me away right there, switch to Drake guns while I get in close again. Because I have my trinket, I'm going to use that. My potion, which gives me increased damage and increased attack speed, as well as giving me some of my ulti back if I have to use it. Use the Drake gun once he does the pushback, and you get in close again because you do significantly more damage with the axe up and close like this. But I mean, there's no point wasting all this time running back into him with no damage. So get in there, beat him in the face a whole bunch of times. On the fire thing, grenades don't do it. It's just the barrels, and I don't know if it's intentional, but you definitely feel their fire. So he's down, as you can see, fairly easy, painless, didn't hurt me too much. He didn't bother to turn to any of the DPS really, so. Then something a lot of people mess up on this map, start leaving. As soon as he's dead, if you're a squishy DPS, leave. Tank, whoever is tanking it, the one with the most health, stays around just to keep the little swarm from catching up to him. Just knock him back a bit. Bad elf, go away. There we go. And then you just run down the hill and you're out. So here's the end screen. As you can see, that elf is the same level as me. And did a good job. They're a really good elf, so props to them. But I did beat them on DPS. I was actually a little bit lower for where I'm usually at, but it's been a long time since I played the dwarf, so I'm going to use that as an excuse and hide behind it. But alright guys, that's that, and let's go over the different subclasses. Okay, so referencing back to the beginning of the gameplay, I have it mind bound to F8, but this is the one right here. You double click that button, it opens up this weird little screen, looks like that one. Then you close again, and you're able to move during the cutscene. Anyway, all right. So Ironbreaker, Ranger dude. Everybody starts with him. He's there's nothing bad about him. He's specials drop ammo pickups on deaths every time you kill a hooker, one of the neck snatchers, or one of the wizards, or an assassin. Anytime you kill any of those, you get ammo, which I believe on default is 10% of whoever picks it up max ammo. So if you have 100 rounds with like the elf swift bow, then you get 10 rounds. You know, so on and so forth. They also have a passive to double it, so it's kind of handy, but definitely not necessary. He does have the double ammo capacity of a ranged character and increased reload speed, but he does not have the damage follow-up off. But passive words are hard, so he's a close range shooter if he does it. And his crease skill is he drops a bomb that gives the best we can figure out. Enemies have a hard time hitting him, so it like ups his evasion, and he can just go in there and go ham and all that stuff. But that's pretty much what we got on the Ranger one. Ironbreaker just went over all that stuff, so we'll skip him. Berserker or Slayer, we're just Berserker. He's a Berserker, all right. I don't care what they call him. This is probably the single most entertaining classes to play by far. Really is. He has passives to where he can't get hit harder than 25 damage per hit. He flies through the airs at enemies and lands, knocks them all down, and gets a speed buff for a long time. After 3 successful hits, he gets like a 30% damage boost. He gets the dual axes, which are OP, the most fun, but he gets no ranged weapons. He has 2 different choices of melee weapons, so you can have like the ranged axes and a great axe, or the dual axes and a great axe, or whatever offhand weapon you want. The dual axes are insanely overpowered. I strongly recommend you use them. He also has a passive at 15 to where every stack of that increases his defense. So at full stacks, he's almost as tanky as an Ironbreaker is, and puts out insane DPS. Really does. He is a true blast to play. He's a very high skill character, and it's end game. You're gonna have to be at end game for him. You know, you can't bring a level 15 Slayer into a champion. Really, you gotta be really Twitch, have all his stuff unlocked, and be really just generally good with him as a player. But when you get him unlocked, I promise you will have fun if you just pop into a recruit and go berserk for a little bit. He's very stress relieving. A lot of fun, but still, out of these 3, going as you progress forward and into endgame, I recommend the Ironbreaker just for the ability to have, you know, decent damage and be practically unkillable. It's fun. So all in all, I give Bardin's he's in the top 2 strongest classes for sure, and I strongly recommend him. And hope you guys all like this video. Make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts, opinions, and all that stuff for me. Again, square up with that like button, like it's your favorite hater, and subscribe if you haven't already. I believe the next one is going to come up is going to be the Huntsman, and I'm probably going to do a duel for the Foot's Knight as well. But the Huntsman has an exploit type. I'm not sure if it's actually an exploit, but he has a thing with him that I'm not sure if they're going to fix or not, because it's pretty overpowered. So I'm trying to stay away from doing a build for him until they decide if they're going to fix it or not. Same for the Bounty Hunter over in Victor's things. But I do have a Pyromancer build I'll probably throw at you guys here soon. And if I don't hear about either one of these getting fixed, then I will do a Huntsman and a Bounty Hunter build video on that. But again, hope you guys all enjoyed it. Let me know. And remember, if you want to catch a live stream, link is in the description below. That's going to do it for this time, though. And I will catch all of you next time. Later.